As I'm cleaning up for the move, I have come across a few of my older pieces of artwork, and I thought I'd do just a quick flip through and show you some of those pieces. They're not in any particular order. I wasn't putting dates on them at the time, which is a good idea. I've started doing that now because you want an idea of when you were doing something so that you can see how you've grown in your process. So these are all just kind of random. They're random stages of when I was working on different pieces. And let's just take a quick look. So these cats were done. I was doing this quick drawing challenge where it was index card a day, and you were just supposed to draw something small and quick that fit on an index card. So these are just 2 days from that. This is one of my older paintings. You can see some of the background here. This is when I had started experimenting with painting on top of messy backgrounds. This piece is actually glass. I had found an old glass frame outside in our recycle room. So I took the glass piece because I was learning at the time how to paint on glass, and I was experimenting with doing a portrait. So this was actually quite a challenge for me because I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit rough in the face and some of the colors are a bit off. Because it is glass paint, it was a little bit harder for me to mix. I wasn't really familiar with anything, but this is my first portrait piece on glass, and technically my only portrait piece on glass. I should probably start doing that again. Um, but it was fun to try, and I do want to do more of that. So this is an old sketchbook that I had. I think I got the sketchbook at an art gallery in Abu Dhabi. The artwork on the cover of the sketchbook is by Musa Al Masrui. I might have butchered the name, and I apologize if I did. But I was starting to experiment with portraiture, and this one I did date. This is 2018. So you can kind of see where I've come. This one, it says I was just drawing on a random scribble in my notebook. So I created the face with the random scribble in my notebook. Another face from 2018. I was practicing folds on the veil. It says I still need work. So these are just some other random paintings inspired by Arabic artists. No noses, just the hint that a face is there. So I was experimenting with that as an idea. And this is inspired by an artist that was featured in Harper Bazaar magazine. So I was just kind of experimenting with different ways to use the pencil. Another one here. I was trying to draw a female figure, and I wrote in my notes that it should have been female, but the face seems more male, maybe too elongated. This is when I was trying to work towards capturing a more photorealistic style, and I was starting to really focus on trying to do that in portraiture, though I wasn't really doing it too well. This is when I started first doing the line art drawings. Maybe not one of the first ones, but back then, this is where it looked like I had divided the face in half, and I was trying to work through proportions here. I'm trying to experiment with a more comic book look to that one. Another single line portrait drawing. That one I like, that's not bad. And I think one of the things that you'll notice too is that there are times where it seems like I move forward in my skill and then move backward. And that's normal. You're going to sort of move forward and back. Some more different pages. This is one of my more complex single line drawings. So yeah, these probably weren't my first ones. My first ones were really bad. But this one is quite interesting, very full. Can you see the full page there? I don't know if I did that to the last page too. It was out of focus. Another single line drawing. I was starting to work more on doing the detail with the single line drawing, trying to work towards that single line, continuous line drawing becoming more realistic. But what I didn't realize was happening at the time was I was starting to develop a style, and I was getting a little looser in my drawings. So a few more of the portraits here. Let's see. And some cats. Random little cat doodles. Those are cute. Maybe I can bring some of these back and put them out into watercolor or something like that in the future. It's a camel. Not very well done, but not too bad. And some are better than others, but that's what the sketchbook is for, right? Another face. And I'm not sure if this whole thing is pretty full. Back then, I was also worried about drawing on both sides of the sketchbook for whatever reason. Sometimes I get weird about that now, and I think the rest of it's empty. So I'll have to finish the sketchbook off. Let's put these aside. So I went through a stage where I didn't think I was good enough to have a sketchbook, so I was using magazines that I had read, and this is part of that phase. These faces are just kind of randomly drawn in. I was experimenting with finding, this is where I think I first started finding faces in the background. So I was started experimenting with that. Not all of these are full. Here's like a drawing here. It's a little dark. I guess it appears better on camera than it does in person. But yeah, there's too much. It's too dark in these areas. Let's see if there's... So there's a few pages here where I was just like randomly doing things, experimenting with scraping off paper, drawing different things in them. Let's see. Here's another page here. I also had some different stencils in there. I guess I should start bringing some of those back. This is kind of a fun drawing of a person here. Let's see, what else do I have? So here's one of my early ones that I really like. Haven't seen that one in a while. So I drew her from a single line drawing, and then I was trying to just shade in the face here. But a lot of these I would use like leftover paint and start stamping them off onto the page. Here's one here. Just kind of a face I saw in the leftover stencil bits. And then this, I drew a lady walking up a staircase. I don't know if there's too much more in this one. I don't think there is. I kind of abandoned this after a while, just because I actually started using sketchbooks. So that's all that's in this one. Here's the back of that cover page. Okay, put that off to the side, and then I have these. So you can see from this one, if you were to compare it with my newer ones, that I've gotten better at doing the different shading in with skin. I still want to work on hair. I actually did the hand pretty well here. I'm actually pretty happy with both of the hands on these. These are just kind of like random pages, but you can see sometimes the faces are not, like I was actually trying to draw a face and draw it well, and it's just not done very good. There's a little bit of collage here. It was some of my mixed media experiments. This is probably a later drawing. You can see them getting more realistic as I went. Same with here. I think I was doing a fairy tale themed thing here, so I have Goldilocks and the Three Bears. You see that on the page there. So here I've got the beginnings of a portrait that I never finished. Not too bad overall, but I am seeing that early on I was a little too precious with the paint. It's a little dry looking there. Random angel, random lady. Let's see what's in here. Oh, there's probably something in here. Yep. See, again, the skin tone is kind of flat. I'm not really doing any of the shading here with that. There's a little bit of shading in the hair, but it's all almost one color. But this was fun. There's a lot of collage here. Maybe I need to get back into doing that sort of thing. A random from the index card a day. Let's see what we have in here. Okay, so You have the lady right here that I drew just into the background. And then this person that I drew using some of the background. I actually like her a lot. Some pages I randomly started, but I never drew pictures onto. And then I also was doing this. I would start just pasting computer paper into the magazine and then drawing or painting on it. It's a little bit of a challenge to draw and paint on some of these surfaces. But I didn't know I was making it harder on myself at the time. You can start to see that I am working more on getting in the skin tone shading as I work through here. You can see it in her as well. This was like a mixed media page I did, I think for a project I was doing. This is actually done on watercolor paper, and then she's collaged in. But I do like her a lot. She's fun. All the tiny little bees flying around her. I really like her a lot. So these were kind of weird, but they're fun. And this is also where I just started experimenting with a lot of random faces all over the place. I was just drawing tiny little faces everywhere, but this spread came out really interesting. Just some collage started here. Oh, here's some of the animals, the books coming apart. So I had taken this class about animals, painting animals, and these are some of the first that I had done in this book. These are cute. I might do something with those later on. Oh, here's this lady on the back. So I would do this thing with, this time I was using a white gel pen and then sometimes a black pen. And I would just draw random circles, and it was just kind of relaxing to do that. Just fill the whole page up with circles. And then I drew this lady into it and painted her. The hands are okay. I am getting better with the shading here at this point. Again, I don't know what year this was that I did this, but you can see where I was improving. I eventually had wanted to get more photorealistic. I just started, I think in another video I talked about it. I had more fun doing the looser work, and I've gone back towards that right now. I think I had experimented with blotches of color, and I was pushing around ink on the page, and then I decided to make these flowers. This came out really fun. Let's see. Oh, here's a couple more. Oh, so I was trying to draw her on this page, and I had glued in some candy wrappers, and I was going to collage over this, but I wanted to try her over here. So she does not look anything like her, other than that they're the same pose. So still had a lot of work to do. And another random page I had drawn into, and another random woman that I had painted. Oh, here's another one. This is a page I started but didn't do anything with, and then I just randomly drew her. This one was very loose, I remember. Maybe it could use some more flowers or something up there, but it was fun to do. And then this was another thing I was doing. I was taking the text in the magazine and just painting over it or drawing over it with a paint marker and making random lines, and then later I would use it as a background in my art journals. And this was very soothing to do at the time. It didn't take a lot. So that was the advantage of using the magazine. Let's see if there's anything in here. Okay. Here's one. So another page, again, drawing through the text and then drawing circles and painting into the background. And then this page, this was a paper bag that I taped into here for the texture. And then I drew this tiger, or I should say painted it. Started collaging there. This one is not a very good drawing, but it's just quick. Again, some better than the others. This was a lot of fun, this page. I actually like this spread. Can you see the whole thing here? So I was just experimenting with scraping paint all over, and I got this interesting background, and I saw this part here where the couple, and they sort of almost form a heart, and I just liked the way this meshed together. So I made this whole art journal spread here. I think you can see the whole thing. The magazine's a little big. Let's see if there's anything else here. I was just collaging into the book here. I hadn't even finished working on this one before I moved on. Maybe I'll still do something else with it because I've got all these pages that I started. These are threads that I collaged in with some of the paper and the paint. Let's see. I can feel the pages that have been painted on because they're thick. Oh, I just painted these ladies here. Let's see. And this was, I think there's actually a video on the channel for this one. This was an art journal spread I did with a friend of mine. It's hybrid, I think. Yeah, because it has some of the computer printed components. She had drawn these, and then I drew into them on my own. We were doing a collaboration together. Oh, these are a couple that I really like. Again, just like paint that I had spread all over the page to make a background, and then I drew these faces into it. Now, she is very expressive, although her face isn't as balanced as I like, but what I do like about it are like the freckles and just all the color. This one I feel is very expressive, and I do love this a lot. I called it Cocooned, and this is 2018. It does have a date on this one. And so all of the ones in here are from different time frames. They're not, here's another one that I drew. All of these were just done over different time frames. Okay, oh, here's one that I drew. It's coming out of there. Again, a little bit too dry with the paint, but I was trying to do the shadowing in it. It's not the best, but it's good to experiment. Oh, this one I made a witch. Let's see, here's another background I had started but never finished. Another one I was starting. I think I liked this artist work, and then I was just carrying it all over the page. Oh, here's a couple more in here. Okay, so this is, I was just drawing all these little faces, drawing them over and over and over again. I painted one of them, but the rest I didn't, and I was just practicing faces. And then this, I just carried on the color with it and drew her. I have some of the stenciled flowers on it and a couple that are hand drawn. Here's another one that I drew on one of the backgrounds. There's some napkins collaged into here, which give it a lot of color and texture. Oh, this is a favorite of mine. So some of this is collaged in paper bag, and some of it is collaged in from a different magazine. And then I drew the couple here. I just kind of felt this was very interesting and expressive. Anything else? Okay, here we go. This one, I was playing around with the idea of taking parts of a magazine and cutting out just the eyes and the mouth and some of the noses, and then drawing a face and a person around it. So it was just kind of like a fun activity that I did, and I created this very weird page. Let's see, started that one as a background. This is one that I painted. Again, not the best, not the worst. I don't know when I painted that one. Another background I was playing around with. Random doodle stuck in the magazine. Let's see. So here's some pages I started, but I never finished. I never did anything with them. This one, this is actually drawing paper I taped into here when I worked on her. That one says 2018. I had been taking, I think it was a Fabulous Faces class where I was trying to learn to paint better faces. I think that's it for there. These are just like some collaged things. So that's all I have for those older sketchbooks. If I find any more, I will do another video of it, and it just gives you an idea of where I started from. Like I said, my work kind of goes forward and moves backwards over time. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.